I would say early in the fight, Canelo, and earlier in his career, Canelo. But he hasn't been that kind of fighter in recent years.
It's going to be interesting, I'll tell you that.
What do you think?
I don't know. You know, it's a big jump to go from 54, which was a step up from 47, right?
Now
so it
he's
goes to
going to
54, and now he's going to
68?
68. That's so much weight.
A lot of weight.
Do you think Terence Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez?
Yeah, I think he can win.
Okay.
I don't know if he's going to win, but I think he can win.
Max Kellerman recently joined Joe Rogan and dropped a shocking prediction for the mega showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Known for spotting patterns others often miss, Kellerman stunned fans by going against mainstream opinion. While he acknowledged Canelo's unmatched power and decades of experience against elite opponents, Kellerman pointed to something different: Crawford's adaptability and fight IQ. In his view, Crawford's ability to adjust on the fly and systematically break down opponents could be the X factor that tilts this fight in his favor. If true, this wouldn't just be another win or loss, it could redefine both fighters' legacies and crown a new pound-for-pound king.
Okay, so then a little bit of this and that between Canelo and Crawford. I'll give you a list of attributes, and then tell me who do you feel is best in that attribute. First attribute, best jab.
Crawford.
Best defense.
Crawford. Nowadays, Crawford. I would say early in the fight, Canelo. And earlier in his career, Canelo. But he hasn't been that kind of fighter in recent years. Although Crawford is also hittable. With any fighter, when you talk about their defense, the question is not, can they be hit with a shot? You take punches. Everyone, the greatest defensive fighters ever get hit. Pernell Whitaker, Willie Pep, Floyd Mayweather, they all get hit. The question is, can you hit them with combinations? And both guys are hard to hit. With the two-piece, hard to hit.
So who has the best footwork out of the two?
In terms of cutting off the ring, last fight notwithstanding, Canelo has gotten much better at cutting off the ring. But, you know, early in his career, he had a problem with that and was much more comfortable counterpunching. But overall, I have to say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power. Canelo also has a great chin. But in terms of, if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford. Okay. But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned Canelo's power, so who I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Madrimov. So, and Canelo, though he has not stopped anyone in a while, we've seen he's a real puncher at 68.
As far as speed, who has a better speed?
You would imagine Crawford, given the fact that he is the naturally smaller fighter, and I would assume he could maintain that advantage going into this fight.
Last attribute, ring IQ.
They both have sky-high ring IQs. If I have to, Crawford. If you ask me again, there's a reason that I think Crawford's the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
Max Kellerman is officially making his high-profile return to boxing commentary, joining Netflix's broadcast team for the blockbuster Canelo Alvarez vs. Terence Crawford fight on September 13, 2025. This will be his first major on-air boxing role since parting ways with ESPN back in 2023. Kellerman will take his place at the analyst desk alongside John Onik and Andre Ward, bringing his trademark insight and decades of experience to one of the most anticipated fights in modern boxing history. The announcement of his return, Kellerman didn't hold back. He called the matchup a perfect storm and declared that Terence "Bud" Crawford currently sits at the very top of the pound-for-pound rankings. While acknowledging that Canelo Alvarez once wore that crown, Kellerman insisted that Crawford has now claimed it, entering this fight not just as the challenger, but as the man to beat.
Up the first member of our broadcast team. He is the best boxing analyst in the sport. Ladies and gentlemen, Max Kellerman.
All right, so I know you guys are excited about this fight, but I don't think you understand what a big deal it is. This is a perfect storm, First of all, Turki Al-Sheikh, we're lucky he happens to be a boxing fan. None of this happens if he doesn't happen to be a boxing fan. It's just none of us are here. Nick Khan, the best in the business. Dana White is the greatest combat sports promoter of my lifetime. And it's his first ever boxing promotion. So that's who's behind what you're gonna see. You know who's the best pound for pound fighter in the world? The most recent one. Bud Crawford. Apologies to the monster and Usyk. Bud Crawford has my vote for best pound for pound. Who was the best pound for pound before Bud? Canelo Alvarez, universally recognized that way. But it's not just these two guys, the last two best pound for pound fighters in the world. There haven't been that many. Before Canelo, who do you have? Before Canelo, Floyd or Andre Ward, Floyd Mayweather. Before, you could take the lineage back. There have only been, 25 or 30 fighters who ever lived who you said that's the best pound for pound fighter in the world. These are two of them, the last two. And they're gonna fight in Las Vegas on September 13th. Canelo is 62-2 with 2 draws, 62-2. So was Marvin Hagler when Sugar Ray Leonard moved up to fight him and they produced one of the biggest spectacles in the history of boxing. This fight is a perfect storm. I could not be more excited to be a part of it.
Joe Rogan has also made it clear that his lean is toward Crawford. On the Joe Rogan Experience, he praised Bud's elite versatility and ring intelligence, which he believes give him the upper hand over Canelo. Rogan pointed out that Canelo has slowed in recent years, transitioning from a sharp, dynamic combination puncher to relying more on singular, powerful shots. In contrast, Crawford stands out as one of the most fluid switch hitters since Marvin Hagler, seamlessly shifting between orthodox and southpaw while staying just as dangerous in either stance. During a recent debate with Jim Lampley, Rogan doubled down on his belief that Crawford's precision, IQ, and improved physique after bulking up could allow him to outbox Alvarez. Lampley, however, offered a more cautious view. While admiring Crawford's brilliance and even comparing him to a modern-day Sugar Ray Robinson, he warned that Canelo's devastating counterpunching, iron chin, and massive lower body strength could be the deciding factors on fight night.
Yeah.
Shoot, what
Go
about
get away.
Crawford and Canelo?
What do you think of that?
Personally, I'm a big Crawford fan, so I'm going to lean his way. My only concern is just the size. It didn't look like Terrence's power transferred in the last fight, so
With
now it's coming up some more. You know what I mean?
Part of the problem with that is Majumav's really good.
Yeah,
he's really fucking good.
But I just think Crawford is. It's weird to say against Canelo, but I think he's the better boxer, and I think he's the guy who can make the better in-fight adjustments if Canelo doesn't kill him.
It's going to be interesting, I'll tell you that.
What do you think?
I don't know. It's a big jump to go from 54, which was a step up from 47, right?
Now
so it goes to
to
54, and now he's going to 68. That's so much weight.
A lot of weight.
But Terrence I think he's the best switch hitter since Hagler.
They claim Hagler was my favorite. They claim he's walking around like a $190 or something, and you do know he's a wrestler.
However, in another interview, Jim Lampley doubled down on his confidence in Canelo. While he praised Crawford as arguably the most complete fighter in the sport today, Lampley stressed that this fight comes down to size and experience. In his view, Canelo's natural strength at 168 pounds, combined with years of championship-level battles, gives him the edge. He argued that those physical tools, along with Canelo's composure under pressure, could ultimately neutralize Crawford's versatility and adaptability, tipping the scales in Alvarez's favor.
Smart. Absolutely, he's smart. He knows this business as well as anybody. So no, it's not surprising that Canelo learned from Floyd and has employed some of that in the retention of his career. Canelo still knows how to make fireworks when he absolutely has to make fireworks. But at the end of the day, he's a counterpuncher. He's a great defender. He has the most solid punch resistance of anybody in the sport. Nobody's ever knocked him off balance. Nobody's ever really knocked him down. There's only one official knockdown in his career, and it was because he bounced off the ropes when Jose Cotto hit him with a hard shot to the chest. And the referee employed a strict interpretation of the rules and said, oh, the ropes held you up, so that's a knockdown. He's never been put on his back by anybody. He rides horseback every morning. His legs are the strongest in the sport. You're not going to beat Canelo.
Legendary commentator Teddy Atlas has also weighed in, making it clear that while Canelo Alvarez is a phenomenal fighter, Terence Crawford might just be on another level. Atlas admits he's not willing to bet against Crawford, crediting his rare blend of speed, adaptability, defensive mastery, and mental toughness as potential game changers. He pointed to Crawford's razor-sharp ring IQ and his ability to switch seamlessly between orthodox and southpaw, calling him that special guy whose mindset separates him from the rest. While Atlas acknowledged the challenge of moving up in weight, he firmly believes that Crawford's skill and character could be the X factors that tilt the fight in his favor.
A little overrated. Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds.
Canelo's really good. Really good. But I think Crawford is special. I know he hasn't fought the resume everyone wants, but you have that or you don't have that ingredient. I think he has it. Canelo's really good. He's tremendous. But could he be a tiny bit overrated? The greatness is within Crawford. It's in his desire. It's in his mind. It's in his makeup, where he came from. I know he's moving up in weight class. Can he carry it? But those intangibles, I believe that he has them.
Stephen A. Smith has thrown his prediction into the mix, backing Terence Crawford to outpoint Canelo Alvarez by decision. Speaking on the All the Smoke Fight podcast, Smith praised Canelo's greatness and punching power but argued that Crawford's speed, movement, and technical versatility, especially his ability to switch stances, would be the difference. He warned that Canelo's heavy reliance on power shots could work against him, reasoning, if you can box and you can move, you can beat Canelo. While Smith acknowledged the challenge of Crawford fighting at 168 pounds, he remained firm in his belief that skill, not size, would ultimately decide the outcome.
Tell you what I think should be gone. The notion that Terence Bud Crawford should move up 3 weight classes, 21 pounds, to fight Canelo Alvarez. He's entirely too small. Jamel Charlo already proved that. Y'all remember that scene from Rocky? Remember that scene from Rocky 2? When Carl Weathers was Apollo Creed and his trainer was like, can I be honest? I saw you beat this man within an inch of his life. And he kept coming. He wouldn't go away. He's wrong for us, baby. He's wrong. Let it go. Apollo couldn't do it. And lost fight number 2. Trained him for Rocky 3. And then got killed in Rocky 4 by Drago. Because he couldn't let it go. Bud Crawford needs to let it go. Too small.
Terence Crawford's jaw-dropping transformation ahead of his clash with Canelo Alvarez has sent shockwaves through the boxing world. After jumping 14 pounds from 154 to 168, Crawford now looks leaner, more muscular, and more powerful than ever, his chiseled physique sparking reactions from fans who claim Canelo is in trouble. Supporters see the added size as a potential game-changer, while skeptics warn it could come at the cost of speed or endurance. Olympic bronze medalist Amari Jones praised Crawford's disciplined approach, noting that Bud trains hard and looks like he put it on the right way, suggesting the weight gain may actually give him a real edge. Still, the risk remains. Can Crawford carry his speed and stamina up in weight, or will this leap prove too costly in the ring?
I feel like Crawford, he just has the grit, and me personally meeting Crawford several times, it's like the man is just so competitive. It's like I don't even have to say nothing to him. He'll just like, man, when we sparring, it's like his competitiveness is always gonna put him over the edge, and then he just has that, like, I'm not going to let you bully me, or, his skill set. I know they talk about Charlo when Charlo moved up, but I feel like it may be a little bit different for Canelo this time around because Crawford took the moving up in weight classes serious. He did the dieting, he did the training. So I feel like when you put in work like that, it's a win-win.
On the Joe Rogan Experience, Terence Crawford broke down the unique mix behind his training regimen. His preparation spans running, swimming, strength work, and plyometrics, each targeting a specific aspect of performance, from building endurance to protecting joint health. Crawford highlighted swimming as especially vital, boosting his breathing capacity while aiding recovery between sessions. He also revealed his preference for lighter weightlifting, rarely going above 20 pounds, explaining that agility, not raw bulk, is the key to maintaining his speed and versatility in the ring.
Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. Some of them be hard. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. You can't replace, I would say like tech sparring and like soft sparring from, a comparison to get ready for a fight. Because you fight how you spar how you fight. And if I'm in there just doing this, catch, then when the fight come and everything is full blast, full speed, I'm not gonna be able to keep up because I didn't train that way.
Right.
I can hit the bag, I can hit the miss, all that I want, but nothing's coming back.
Right.
I'm not feeling that presence of a person pushing me, hitting me, holding me, things like that. So sparring is very important. And not saying that you have to, go hard every single time you spar, but there got to be days where, that fighter is trying to put it on you.
Veteran boxing commentator Ul Bernstein has outlined the keys to victory for both men. For Canelo Alvarez, it's about imposing his strength and dictating the rhythm, especially in the mid to late rounds where relentless pressure can tip the fight in his favor. For Terence Crawford, agility alone won't be enough. He must control distance with sharp movement and ring generalship, keeping the fight fluid and dictating tempo to neutralize Canelo's physical edge. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan has admitted this matchup has captivated him so much that he's determined to watch it unfold live. Yet, despite the buzz, not everyone in the boxing world is convinced this fight truly delivers on its super fight label.
Most fans or most people would probably say Crawford, I'm guessing, because that's a big part of how he's won, and everybody feels that and rightfully so, that the way he's figured out, he's constantly changing from lefty to righty. He's a person that alters his attack. Sometimes he's a boxer, sometimes he's walking people down. Canelo's style is more the same in most fights. He is a counterpuncher who's waiting for you to make your move so he can counterpunch you. Then when he has you in trouble, he's willing to move forward. His attack is a pretty straightforward one. On the face of it, you might say Crawford, but I think the thing about Canelo Alvarez is that he has seen every style that you can see.
Juan Manuel Marquez has made his stance crystal clear. He doesn't like the fight at all. The Mexican legend argues that boxing has weight divisions for a reason, and Crawford's leap from 154 to 168 simply doesn't add up. Marquez points to Crawford's most recent bout, where he looked slower and less powerful, warning that added weight will only further diminish his speed without boosting his punching force. For Marquez, this isn't about questioning Crawford's talent, it's about respecting the sport structure and the natural limits that come with it.
I don't like the fight because Terence Crawford is a good fighter, but in the sport of boxing, it has divisions. You know what I mean,
Right, weight classes.
You know what?
Right?
Yeah, weight classes
for a reason.
Weight classes and Terence Crawford is a good fighter in super lightweight, welterweight, super welterweight, but I think more. I remember when Terence Crawford fought with Madrimov.
Yes.
He looks slow. He looks with no power, and two more divisions. I think it's a top fight for Terence Crawford, but Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He has a great defense. He has a good combination of punches, but I think the weight class is no good for him.
Who do you see coming out on top? Canelo's raw power or Crawford's elite boxing IQ? Drop your prediction in the comments, and let's see who the real fight fans are backing.